Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're zeroing in on a dilemma that probably feels familiar to many creatives out there. You're ready for that next big step, maybe international travel, needing that spark, that growth for your career.
But then reality hits.
Exactly. You're busy, lots of projects, clearly capable. But the bank account, well, it's telling a different story. Low savings just scream, maybe stay put.
It really is the ultimate push-pull situation, isn't it? And our listener's question is spot on. If I'm going to spend this hard-earned, newly saved money, where should I go? Paris or Kyoto?
Right. And crucially, which one is the smarter move? We're talking career investment, financial sense, not just the best pastries or temples.
It's about the ROI, the return on investment for a creative professional.
Absolutely. And what I find fascinating about the analysis we've got here is,
wow,
well, it doesn't just give a quick answer. No, go here. Recommendation.
No, it's much deeper. It lays out a whole strategic framework tailored to the situation.
It suggests the trip's success actually hinges entirely on your mindset, where you are in your business cycle right now, not just the destination itself.
Precisely. It's a structured roadmap, really. It aims to guide you from the state of, let's say, high effort but low return towards something more sustainable. And it all balances on these two powerful ideas.
One pushing outwards, one looking inwards.
Kind of, yeah. One about expansion, the other about deep observation and learning.
Okay, so our mission today, let's distill this framework. We need to unpack the 4 operational stages it outlines, and then see how that maps onto the choice. Is Paris the expansion option right for you? Or is it Kyoto, the more inward cultivation path? Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with the big picture, the overall strategic direction. Your initial situation, that high hustle, low savings state, is represented by this concept called yi.
Yi, increase, gain. That sounds pretty positive.
It is. On the surface, it suggests potential. The reading actually says something like, mist clears, guiding star appears.
Okay, so it implies you're coming out of a confusing time, maybe like dealing with endless client changes or just not charging enough.
That's the idea. The fog is lifting, your energy is starting to come back, and you can actually see a path towards getting your finances in better shape.
So yi is that initial urge, that active desire to grab opportunities, get that financial boost. But I'm guessing that surge alone isn't the solution.
Exactly. It's not enough to fix the underlying savings issue. And that's where the, let's call it, counter strategy comes in.
Okay.
The framework says that to really make the most of this returning energy, your strategy needs to shift. It needs to lean into Guan.
Guan. Observe. Contemplate.
So
That sounds quieter.
it is. The analysis phrases it beautifully. Seeking heaven's blessing for smooth sailing. It's less about aggressive chasing.
So not pushing harder, but pausing, like a strategic R&D phase almost.
You've got it. Guan is about observation, learning, absorbing things from the outside networks, resources, cultural insights. It's about letting opportunities wipe in and come to you rather than forcing them.
Okay, so consolidation, learning, maybe being more critical about what you take on.
Yes. Think knowledge acquisition, strategic assessment.
So if we put yi, the active gain part, together with Guan, the strategic observation, the message is you have to move beyond just working hard.
Absolutely. It's the classic shift from busy to effective, from working hard to working smart. Right now, financial success needs wisdom, needs strategy. Impulse isn't going to cut it.
That tension really is the key then. The yi impulse, I want to travel, spend, expand. Bumping up against the Guan, need, hold on, consolidate, plan, observe.
That's the dynamic. To make this trip actually pay off, you've got to satisfy that urge for inspiration, but do it with real professional discipline.
Which brings us to the practical side. If Guan means discipline, how do you actually do that? This is where the roadmap gets really specific, right? With 4 stages.
Yes, 4 distinct phases. And they apply to managing your work before the trip and how you approach things during it.
Okay, lay them out for us. Stage 1.
Stage 1 is the foundation. And honestly, maybe the hardest part. It's summed up as act judiciously, eliminate sloth.
Eliminate sloth. Wow, that sounds a bit harsh for someone who's probably already feeling burned out from too many projects.
Yeah, it sounds tough, but it's not about physical laziness. It's about professional laxity, letting things slide.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like taking on easy, low-paying gigs just because they're there, or not negotiating contracts properly. Scope creep.
Exactly, that kind of sloth. The actionable advice here is really clear. Start immediately shifting away from those high-volume, low-profit projects. Focus your energy on finding fewer but higher-paying projects.
That frees up mental space, I imagine.
It does, and crucially, before you even think about booking flights, you need to set small, concrete savings goals, like, I will save X amount for the flight ticket in the next 3 months.
Makes the trip feel earned, realistic,
Yeah.
not just a whim.
Right, it builds that discipline muscle.
Okay, discipline established. What's stage 2?
Stage 2, gain benefit without regret or loss. So once you've got that better structure in place, good opportunities will start showing up. Maybe through networking, maybe better proposals land.
This is where things start to pay off.
Yes, but there's a big caution here. The analysis warns against letting short-term wins blind you to long-term risks. Meaning you absolutely must vet new clients carefully, get contracts crystal clear, nail down payment terms up front. The last thing you want is to come back from an inspiring trip and spend 6 months chasing an invoice.
Right, that would definitely cause regret or loss.
Yeah.
So connecting this to travel. Say you meet a potential collaborator while you're away. That's a stage 2 moment.
Perfect example. You seize the opportunity, yes, but the Guan strategy kicks in. You engage carefully. Maybe start with a small, clearly defined trial project. Confirm everything. Don't overcommit based on excitement.
Smart. Avoids future headaches. What's next? Stage 3.
Stage 3 is about adapting. Prioritize oneself and follow the natural path. This is basically the flexibility clause.
Because travel and projects rarely go exactly to plan.
Exactly. Life happens. Markets shift. You get tired. This stage says, if your original plan isn't working, don't just stubbornly push through.
So if you plan to, say, get a bunch of photo commissions in Paris, but the leads dry up or you realize you're exhausted.
You pivot. Don't force it. Maybe you shift focus to lower effort, potentially high return activities instead. Attend some local industry meetups, connect with people in a different niche you hadn't considered. It's about protecting your energy and the overall investment.
Self-care strategy, I like that. Okay, and the final stage, stage 4.
Stage 4 brings us right back to Guan. It's the consolidation phase. Quietly cultivate oneself seeking clarity. The trip might be over, but the real work is just beginning.
Post-trip integration. Making it count.
Precisely. This means dedicated time for organizing everything. Your contact lists, updating your portfolio with the new work you generated, meticulously tracking expenses.
And crucially,
translating those experiences, ideas, and connections into tangible, marketable concepts for your next business cycle. Success isn't about the photos you took for fun. It's about the commercial assets you created from the trip.
okay, that whole 4-stage cycle provides a really solid structure.
Yeah.
Now, let's apply that Yi versus Guan lens directly to the listener's question. Paris or Kyoto?
Right. And remember, we're treating these not just as places, but as different types of investment opportunities.
So Paris first. How does that align with the framework?
Paris lines up almost perfectly with Yi, that outward expansion energy.
Okay. What are the specific pros for a creative pro needing growth?
Well, Paris offers incredible density and exposure. We're talking global industries. Luxury goods, fashion, media, high-end design, publishing. If your goal is rapid visibility, maybe landing a project with a big international brand, or finding a high-profile agent.
Paris has that infrastructure, that buzz.
It absolutely does. It's built for scaling quickly, for seizing market share if you're ready.
But the analysis highlights the downsides too, right? Cost and competition.
Brutal, potentially. If you go without a very clear pre-planned strategy meetings locked in, maybe knowing which co-working spaces to use, who you need to connect with that investment, can evaporate into just expensive tourism.
So you're budgeting not just for coffee and museums, but for strategic tools, meeting spaces, maybe even a local fixer or translator.
If you're serious about the Yi approach there, yes, you need to hit the ground running professionally.
Okay, now let's flip to Kyoto. How does that fit?
Kyoto really embodies the Guan principle, that inward reflection, observation, and cultivation.
Interesting. So the advantages are different. Less about immediate splash, more about...
More about depth and long-term stability. First off, generally, the cost of operating there can be lower than Paris. But the main thing is the atmosphere.
The cultural depth.
Exactly. It's an incredibly powerful environment for deep, focused content creation. Think specialized photography, traditional crafts, reflective writing, developing a really unique aesthetic. It fosters concentration.
So ideal if your goal is building a strong, unique brand identity. Or maybe stable, long-term relationships with local collaborators or clients.
Precisely. It rewards patience and depth, building trust, understanding the nuances.
But the flip side, if you're looking for those immediate high-paying gigs from big international companies, Kyoto might feel slower.
It's definitely a slower burn in that respect. The opportunities exist, for sure, but they often require more cultural immersion, more time to develop. It's the opposite of that high-speed, high-exposure Paris environment.
Okay, so the synthesis here seems pretty clear. The best choice isn't universal. It totally depends on what you, the listener, need right now based on that Zhi Guan framework.
Exactly. Are you in an expansion phase? Yi, or a cultivation phase, Guan.
So if your immediate need is fast exposure, connecting with those high-value international clients, and critically, you've done the pre-trip saving and planning discipline.
Then the framework points towards Paris. You're potentially ready for that active market seize.
But if your goal is more about generating amazing creative work, deepening your specific skills, building something stable and long-term, maybe on a tighter budget,
Then Kyoto looks like the strategic winner. It aligns beautifully with that Guan need for consolidation, reflection, and skill building, using the trip itself to create the assets for future growth.
whichever way you lean, though, the success still boils down to the practical steps, right? How you actually implement it. That's what turns a trip into an investment.
Absolutely. Let's talk actionable techniques. First, dealing with that money anxiety we mentioned, the low savings.
Right, the guilt to spend it.
The analysis suggests something called the split account financial technique, specifically dividing your funds.
Okay, how does that work? The sources mentioned a specific ratio. 30% for the travel fund, 30% for emergency savings, and 40% for investment or operating capital. Why that split?
That split directly reinforces the Guan discipline. By actively earmarking 70% of your accessible funds for non-travel things, your safety net, and your business's future, it reframes the remaining 30%.
It makes the travel fund feel less like frivolous spending and more like a calculated investment in yourself.
Exactly. It psychologically fences it off, reducing that guilt because you know you've prioritized stability first.
Smart. Okay, what's the next tool?
The travel work checklist. This is vital for making sure that travel time actually produces results, not just memories.
So getting really specific about work goals during the trip.
Hyper-specific. Think of it like a 10-day project plan that blends tourism with concrete deliverables. Don't just write network, right? Attend 2 industry-relevant events by day 7. Don't write. Take photos. Right. Produce 10 portfolio-ready edited images by day 5.
And maybe send 5 personalized collaboration inquiry emails based on contacts made.
Perfect. It forces you to treat the trip like a work project with milestones, not just a vacation where you might occasionally check email.
And then, critical for either city, networking preparation. You can't just show up hoping for the best.
Absolutely not. You need to prepare before you go, have a lightweight portfolio ready, maybe digital, easy to share, and a concise self-introduction.
In the relevant languages, too. English, French, Japanese.
If possible, yes. Even basic phrases show respect and professionalism. When those stage 2 opportunities pop up, maybe a chance meeting you need to exchange info smoothly, professionally, fumbling for details kills the momentum.
Okay, planning, financial discipline, clear goals during the trip, and then the final piece, back home. Stage 4 again.
Yes, the follow-up. The analysis is adamant about this. Within 7 days of returning, you must dedicate time to organize everything.
All the materials, the contacts.
And actively follow up. Reach out again to those new connections. The source suggests aiming to follow up with at least 70% of them within that first week.
Wow, 70% within a week? That's demanding.
It is, but it's non-negotiable for conversion. If you wait longer, people forget. Opportunities cool off. The entire investment hotel effort, its commercial value relies heavily on that prompt post-trip discipline. That's how you turn experiences into projects or content.
So this whole framework, bringing together that proactive Yi spirit with the disciplined Gran observation, it really shows that the success isn't about the Eiffel Tower versus the Golden Pavilion, is it?
Not fundamentally. It's about the intent you bring to the trip and whether you've correctly diagnosed your current strategic need. Are you ready to expand, or do you need to cultivate?
If you approach travel as that strategic investment with the right mindset and preparation,
Then both Paris and Kyoto can be powerful catalysts, but only if you choose the one that matches whether you genuinely need that outward push or that inward focus right now.
it feels like the deepest wisdom here is really about self-awareness. Knowing honestly if you're ready to actively seize the market, or if actually you still need that quieter phase to build the foundation, the skills, the content, the systems that will let you seize it effectively later on.
Well put. And maybe that brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to reflect on. If you take this Yi versus Guan lens and apply it not just to travel, but to your current workload, those high activity projects you're doing right now,
Are they truly expanding your career, moving you forward?
Or are you perhaps still in a Guan phase, even if it feels busy? Doing work that's really just preparation, building the skills and stability you need before the real growth, the real yi, can happen.